Can we see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, there we go. So I'm Rick Sapienza, and I'm the Dean of Transportation Technologies. I want to talk about the title that was billed was Green Transportation. I'll go through some of our let's call it green transportation offering, but I'll go through everything we have in workforce development. And this is some pictures from the Hendrick Center. In the lobby, we have a real NARS car donated by the Hendrick team. And then we have a EV specialty area. And right there's a Mach-E and then a Prius trainer that has a roof cut off and a box in the back where we can bug the car and have the students diagnose it. So in terms of, some of the stuff I'm going to go through here, we have the Switch, which is an all-electric training vehicle. I call it like a dune buggy. It's a three-wheel vehicle. It is roadworthy, highway worthy. We will plate it once we're done with them, and it's something we'll build and take apart repeatedly. And it's got all the components and systems of a regular electric vehicle, but that's about all it has with a space frame. So you can see and feel them all without the HVAC, all the cladding, all the body, etc. There's a light electric vehicle, and that's some stuff that's used in high density area, maybe last mile delivery, or maybe in parks or something that public safety may use to patrol. Electric bikes, segways, scooters, etc. And then we have a hybrid electric diagnostic and repair class that's full blown. I mean, it goes through all the systems, what maintenance and repair are, and how to diagnose problems. A high voltage certification that came to us by way of the Aftermarket Association, NEMA. They brought a group that's been doing this for quite a while from Europe, and we taught the class here at Wake Tech for their members and our members, and got our staff certified. So that's something that's in our arsenal. And then these other ones are just more some general ones. We got an advanced automotive technician that has North Carolina safety inspection, OBD2 certification, but it covers general shop with his safety, lift operation, some of the tools, then how to conduct an inspection, road safe, and then some minor repair stuff, some simple stuff, maintenance and light repair. We do have a collision repair and refinishing. Let's call that a series. So it started out with a restoration class. And what we learned is some of the students came in, didn't quite have the skill set to approach the projects they brought in. So we decided to give them the basic skills tied to at least auto body restoration, which is structural dent repair, then refinishing and painting. And if they complete that, then you're allowed with instructor approval to bring in a vehicle of your own to go ahead and do a restoration project on it. Is that one. And then we have a new one coming, tied to green. Electric isn't the only alternative fuel out there. We have natural gas and propane. And the Propane Education Research Council is sponsoring a program we're going to do in June 10, 11. And it's a train the trainer, and they're going to give us some equipment to be able to teach the class going forward. And mainstream, the general public may know it, but a lot of fleets across the country are running vehicles on propane. We have 10,000 school buses, C-type school buses that are running on propane. Propane application, we see it in work trucks. City of Raleigh just converted 15 pickup trucks, and they are running on renewable propane. So there's a need out there. And then if anybody's been near LKQ sites, LKQ, they have box delivery trucks. If you look at them, they have white side saddle tanks, and those are running on propane as well. So the Switch, you can see in the middle picture, there's the space frame, and you'll learn the theory of all the components, measurements, voltage, amperage, resistance, and how they all go together, and do the system. Like I said, it's one you'll build it. We've run this class a couple times already. And what we've seen is quite a range in age and quite a range in, let's say, disciplines. We had some IT folks that actually helped us loading some of the software and helped us work with the limitations of the college and figuring out rates and how to get the information to load the first vehicle so it ran properly. But like I said, it's one where it's as hands-on as it gets. You're building a vehicle, but you're able to see all the electric components, and they are the same you'll see in a regular electric vehicle on the road. Here's a description of it. Simple electric vehicle, electric measurements, build the electric car, theory of the components, and then how they go together. And the thing you need to be careful with electric vehicles is the high voltage. So safety is of utmost importance. You'll be learn about the PPE, personal protection equipment, and what you need to do to make the vehicle safe to work on it. Light electric vehicles, again, very similar to what you see in an electric car, just smaller batteries, smaller electric motors, similar concept. And, it's one that I tell folks is smaller electric vehicles. You don't have to have a full-size vehicle for, maybe short last mile delivery stuff, and they're less expensive. And because they're lighter, they get triple, let's say, the fuel economy in terms of miles per kilowatt hour. So that's a consideration. And same thing. We'll go through it, and that's one that Mark Smith will be teaching. The hybrid electric diagnostic repair. This came out of our development of our EV classes that we teach in curriculum. And it's, same thing. You go through all the systems, and we'll look at hybrid. Plug-in hybrid, and the difference between a hybrid and a plug-in hybrid is you have a larger battery, so you can plug it in and charge it and get more range on electric. Then we'll go to full battery electric vehicles and go through the unique systems, some of the issues you may see with them, how to work on them, and again, how to be safe with them. High voltage certification, like I said, that came over from a group that's been doing it in Europe, and it was a need for that the aftermarket group and small garages, they wanted to try and have some uniform trading, brought these folks in, leaned on us to be the conduit for it. And we've developed that into a class that we're going to teach because of the need. Going away from the green, just advanced automotive tech. I talked about that when I went through the list. Basic garage stuff, some of the tools we use, then alignment, AC, vehicle inspection, and again, safety is paramount when you're in the shop. Tied to these classes, we do some other ones, is part of the class is we pay for your ASE certification testing. So you'll take ASE 6 and ASE 7, and with the diagnostic, this is a snap-on certification, is NC 3. Collision paint and auto restoration. I kind of went through that, and there's the 3. Like I said, it's a cycle, and we're getting ready to start the project-based class the middle of May, and they'll be in class 2 nights a week and all day Saturday through the middle of August, hoping to get their projects done. And we've had folks come back repeatedly to finish a project or to do multiple projects. And what we do is the folks that take the first 2 will have priority to get in the project base. And if we don't fill that, past students that meet the criteria will be allowed to bring projects back or start new projects. Again, all needs to approved by the instructor based on the skill level of the students and what our shop can handle with the instructors helping out and the time frame to finish these. The propane one, I talked about that. It would be what you do with a propane vehicle. You start with a gasoline vehicle, and all these systems are EPA certified. You keep your OEM warranty with the vehicle with an EPA certified system, and you convert it. There's 2 ways to do it. You can take out the gas tank altogether, and that's what Roush Clean Tech does. They do a fully dedicated system. A lot of them keep the gas vehicle, and you'll start on gasoline, and that's really just to keep the injectors and the fuel pump for the gasoline system working, and then you'll run on propane. And conversion, maintenance, and repair is what you go through. And like I said, it's out there more than you think. I had a few years back, I was at Mount Washington, and there's 2 days a year they don't allow you to drive your personal vehicle up. One of them is during Bike Week for Laconia, and it happened to be that week, so I had to take the Mount Washington stage up. And sure enough, all their vans were propane vans, and they absolutely loved them in terms of, the power, the lower cost of fuel, the reduced maintenance, and like I said, just you'd be surprised sometimes. You may be in a propane vehicle, you may not know it. And then we have coming up this summer. We're going to do the switch class focused at high school students, and we have our Cars summer camp where we go through some different things each day. Day one is under the hood. Day two is electric vehicle. We're going to bring in some heavy equipment and John Deere ag stuff on day three, engine performance on day four, and then day five is tied to the collision repair and refinishing. And then the last one we'll do is defensive driving, which is another class we have as part of our offerings here through workforce development. And here's our list to round everything out. The advanced electrical refresh is coming up. AC diagnostics one. Again, equipment training, oscilloscope training. The alignment machine. That's in the end, you do get a certification to run the Hunter alignment machine. And we're going to do a similar to the engine performance. We're doing a transmission class where you do a transmission tear down and rebuild. And then we've had some ask for, we work on cars and trucks. What about motorcycles and smaller vehicles? We got an instructor that's going to come in, and we're going to initiate a motorcycle repair class. And, based on a need, if an organization comes to us, we will do customized training. And I believe that covers it. Where to find us, waketech.edu. Go to the menu, workforce training, and then specifically transportation, and you'll see this screen. That's what I have. We'll open it up to questions at this point. Here's our contact. It's Justina and Corey are the two main contacts for this. And there's a picture of our collision side. That's where you do the prep. And further back, that back wall is where you go into the paint room and the collision side of the house. That's fairly new when the building was a little bit more empty. It's a lot more crowded nowadays. So like I said, open up to questions at this point. I guess if there's no questions, feel free to contact us directly at a future date. I'll hand it off to the next group.
Rick, well, thanks for presenting. We'll hang around for a few minutes if there's some questions, but if not, again, we appreciate you coming out tonight and attending the session. We'll have this recorded and up online in a few days.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Paul.